In this video, I'm going to give my top 10 Dungeon Crawl Classics mechanics that other RPGs should use. First, a quick shout out. I have an upcoming expansion for Dwarf Mine, one of my games, next week on Tuesday, December 10th. The expansion is called Artifacts and Curses. I'll chat a bit more about this at the end of the video. Not too long ago, I did a video like this for the Pendragon RPG, so check out that video if you are interested. It generated some awesome conversation, so I wanted to talk about my top 10 favorite mechanics from Dungeon Crawl Classics, or DCC, and why other RPGs should use them. Number 10, spell variability. Spells are so cool in DCC. Like other RPGs, to cast a spell you need to make a spell check roll. However, the degree to which you succeed will change how powerful the spell is that you cast. For example, Flaming Hands is a classic style spell. If you succeed, you will produce an effect that deals 1d3, 1d6, or 1d6 plus caster level and damage. However, if you succeed to a very high extent, you can create a fire blast in a 360-degree arc up to 40 feet away, dealing 40-10 plus the caster level in damage. It's amazing how crazy these spells can become with the spell variability in DCC. The one downside, and the reason this is number 10 on the list, is that the feasibility of running this at the table is challenging. If you are playing a spellcaster, you're going to need to print multiple 1 to 2 page descriptions for each spell, creating a literal spell book, which I guess would kind of be cool, or you need to use an app. I'm not a fan of apps for fantasy games, so that means for me it would be a lot of printing. Number 9, luck and spellburn. Have you ever wanted to play a wizard who has that last heroic stand using all her remaining strength to send the greatest fireball ever against the enemy? In DCC, spellcasters can do this with spellburn, and all characters can do this to one extent or another with luck. Spellcasters can temporarily spend their physical stats to enhance their spells as a type of blood sacrifice. This creates awesome moments and tough, fun decisions while playing. All characters can do something similar with luck, but spending luck is permanent unless you have a halfling, and having 0 luck is catastrophic for your survival chances, so good luck. Number 8, clerics differ from spellcasters. Many RPGs struggle to make cleric-style spellcasting differ from wizard-style spellcasting. Not DCC. Spellcasters cast spells sure with the tried and tested spell check roll. Clerics work with something called disapproval. A spell check roll is needed to cast, but when a natural one is rolled, this means the cleric has disapproval. Somehow they have gained the disapproval of the deity that they serve. Any failed spell check increases the disapproval chance by 1. This means that if a cleric fails 3 spells and then rolls a 4 on their next spell check, they now have the disapproval of their deity. When they have disapproval, they can no longer cast spells until they make some sort of grand and thematic sacrifice or some sort of homage to their deity. The act of in-game casting spells as a cleric feels very different, and this entire experience and how it's wrapped up into disapproval and regaining the favor of the deity, it's a unique experience compared to wizards, and I think more RPGs that have both clerics and wizards need to figure out how to differentiate them better, like DCC does. Number 7, patron deities. Patron deities are another part of DCC that makes clerics distinct from spellcasters. Each cleric gets their own power and ability to cast spells directly from a patron deity. Each patron deity has a special spell called Invoke Patron, in which you can call for aid. The results are wonderfully unique to your patron. Some patrons have additional spells unique to them and their followers as well. Each patron also has a unique spellburn and patron taint result. These create awesome gameplay moments as characters over time fail their spell checks, get disapproval, and start to physically and mentally embody their patron with these spellburn and patron taint results. Number 6, funnel adventures and level 0. Possibly the most well-known part of DCC is the fact that you start with a handful of level 0, yes, level 0 characters, and you play them in an adventure called the funnel. A funnel is an adventure where you expect some of your characters to die because they're level 0. However, if any of them survive, they are now level 1, and they get some cool new powers. This is a super fun way to begin a campaign, and I see it as a part of the character creation process. Instead of simulating the family history of your knight, like in Pendragon, or the career history of your traveler, like in Traveler, you are actually playing the dungeon history of your character. The only caveat is you don't know which of your level 0 meat shields, if any, are going to survive the first adventure. If one does, you now have a fully created character with loot, experience, skills, and in-game history that you can play going forward. Number 5, Dungeon Crawl Classics Art and Layout. This book is gorgeous. Check out the table of contents. Look at this art. Look at this page in the Thief class section. The entire book is full of art, large pieces and small, and it all tells a great story of some kind. The book is gorgeous. Number 4, adventure modules and gimmicks. One of the calling cards of a DCC module is that it's incredibly clever, well put together, and usually includes a gimmick that is just pure fun. Check out the one who watches from below. It includes a curse which doesn't allow characters or players to speak. They must only communicate with eye movement. This mask comes with the game as well. It's just so fun. So many DCC modules are just pure fun. DCC, in my opinion, is one of the kings of fantasy random tables. They have fumble tables for when you roll a 1 in combat, critical hit tables for pretty much anything that might happen that might roll a 20 in combat, spellburn tables, corruption tables for spellcasters, occupation tables for level 0 characters, and more. DCC is not a random table resource, but there are so many here that I've used for other games, it might as well be. Number 2, magic items and monsters. DCC has some core tenets within their rules, and one of them is that magic items, as well as monsters, are unique. No more finding a sword +1. Instead, you'll find an intelligent sword that is a bit chaotic in nature that can detect water within 80 feet and acts as a shock blade, dealing electrical damage with each blow. Monsters get the same treatment. You aren't fighting a chimera, which are a dime a dozen in D&D. You're fighting the chimera, which has terrorized this region for years. Hundreds of heroes have tried and failed to deliver justice. How will you fare? This is number 2 because it brings the emotion of wonder back into the game. When you find treasure or go up against a monster, you know for sure it's going to be a new and exciting experience. Number 1, the Mighty Deeds die. Have you ever felt that playing a regular fighter is a bit boring? Have you ever wanted a bonus for having a good idea in combat? In DCC, this is baked directly into the mechanics of the game with the Mighty Deeds die. This die is an additional attack die that allows the players to roll, and if successful, they can succeed at whatever they could possibly dream of in combat. This could include jumping on the top of an enemy, pushing them over the cliff, swinging from a chandelier. Whatever fun cinematic ideas the player can think of, the game can handle in a simple way with the Mighty Deeds die. It's an incredible way to make fights more memorable and give fighters who traditionally have the least to think about in a fight to feel part of the epic action taking place. So these are my top 10 Dungeon Crawl Classic mechanics that other RPGs should use. What are your favorite mechanics from DCC? What would you like to see in more of other RPGs? Let me know in the comments below. Now, before I finish the video, I want to remind you that I have an expansion coming out for my Dwarf Mine game called Artifacts and Curses. This expansion includes 10 unique handcrafted artifacts and 10 unique handcrafted curses. When you start a game of Dwarf Mine, you'll start with one of each, an artifact and a curse, and each of these will massively change how you play the game. Not only will they give you new benefits and challenges to overcome while playing Dwarf Mine, there are also over 100 combinations that you can try out. If you haven't played Dwarf Mine yet, you can give it a look at the links in the description below, and if you have, you can check out the Artifacts and Curses expansion next week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.